Good afternoon. Trying again to stream the D's and E's of the watch list. I'm rapidly running out of alerts, so I don't know if I'm even going to get to the end before the alerts finish. But hey, we'll give it a go. We've had a few of the A's and B's hit already, as you can see here, and some other random ones. And so far they're working pretty well. Shorts tend to be working better than longs. And obviously it just depends on whether the zones are strong or weak anyway. We've had a great short on Bendog from 2 weeks supply down to weekly demand. That's a fairly big drop though today, so I wonder if there's something going on with that. So onto the D's and E's, so I can get the stream done relatively quickly. I did do a quick summary on some of them yesterday, so you may have seen already DAG, for example. So this is one I was quite bullish on and said to look for low time frame entries on this. So it's in 3 months supply, but it is multiple hits on 3 months supply now. And so the main thing with this was that it's one of the US favoured coins, but yet you can only short it on MEXC, so therefore it's kind of more likely to go up. As you can see, it's looking quite bullish. Obviously in a perfect world we'd like it to come back down to monthly demand, but it could just break out here. So yeah, keep an eye on this. The alerts I've set are at the moment just up on 2 months supply and then down on this monthly demand. I'd missed this 5-day entry when I looked at it yesterday, so I did have 5-day demand there. It's got a 4-day and a 3-day inside, and it's come off all of those. And obviously I can't really justify calling it right at supply here, but you can see, like, if you're a breakout trader, which I am not, but if you're a breakout trader, then you can see if this new daily demand one is already held, but just see if we get a consolidation through here or a little bit lower for a bigger move up to this 2 month supply. And then yeah, if we get a drop, be looking down on monthly demand down there. Dash, this is one of the less attractive ones because we have an annual supply there. I'm just showing this chart, the Kraken chart, because it's got more of the history. So I do have a bigger alert down here on the 3 month demand should it ever get there. On the lower time frame, you see more of my alerts. Yeah, we're coming off this yearly and 3 month supply here, and obviously it came quite high inside it. Take out some of those zones now. So I put a quite aggressive alert on this. So you know, all the D's and E's are basically the same as what I've shown you previously, with the 2 week supply above and the 5-day, and then the potential gap. Like some of them have a gap to this 5-day. In this case, it's tested all of them because it's got the annual supply in here. I put a more aggressive alert on 2 week supply. So if it gets a little bit higher again, you can look for shorts in there. The only thing I think that's making me, I guess, slightly nervous about alts right now is that they are coming down very slowly and they're leaving a lot of trend line stops above. So it does make me think, you know, that maybe we're going to pick up on these middle demands and push through and stop hunt some of these zones before potentially going lower. You know, we did have a nice strong move on Dash, but again, it's still in that bigger downtrend. But it could pick up support here. So, you know, it's got a 3-day and a 5-day in between, but I've just more conservatively alerted the monthly there because we're coming off annual supply. And if the annual supply does play out, then I would expect this to break, but it may give an interim scalp. Moving on to data. So data again is one of the ones that had a weak monthly demand here, weak because it didn't make it through monthly supply, and some of these managed to wick through monthly supply, but data actually rejected like in it. So excuse me, I deleted something by mistake. So yeah, again, more bearish on this, and it's come down much deeper into this monthly demand. Again, still in a triangle like many other things, or a larger broadening wedge I have there actually. Excuse the dog barking if you can hear it. Yeah, I've set an alert down here on the weekly demand. It's not necessarily a high probability one. This also has an annual, let me just have a quick look. Yeah, it's got a dubious annual supply there, but it's gone obviously quite high inside. But yeah, as you can see, this monthly demand isn't really holding very well at all. So looking for lower on this. And then also on the short side, there's an aggressive short entry at 3-week supply there. The 3 weeks haven't confirmed yet, but I'm assuming they are going to confirm because I can't update all these charts all the time. And in most cases, they've got a 3-day or a 5-day at the zone anyway. So even if they're not confirmed by the time they get there, they are likely to be. DBR, this was, okay, that hasn't confirmed. So this is an interesting one because it does have a 3-week demand, but it's weak. So obviously it's coming down quite deeply inside that, and it's weak, and it's done a large swing failure of the high. It's also now made a weekly supply that it's rejected. So again, I didn't want to, and it's back on weekly demand. So there's no real short spur here at the moment because it's already had the rejection there. So you just need to see again, you know, is it going to consolidate here and pick up this 3-week demand for a bigger move up, or is it going to drop down lower into lower demand? But there's not much I can put on here at the moment, so I've just put the conservative daily down there. There is actually a daily demand here. So potentially that could give an aggressive long entry if the market's going to support it. And it's quite hard to know if the market is going to support that at the moment because of BTC sort of messing around. And a very neat rejection off the 12-hour up here. So there's nothing I really want to put on the short side now because it's already wicked through taking a lot of these stops. So if it does consolidate here, maybe it can pick up strength. Let me see if there's an 8-hour. So yeah, there's nothing really up here. There's a small 4-hour at the top there that I would want to look for a short. Now it's back down in weekly demand. Would have had a nice short on the original test of there, or even on the weekly. But yeah, so the weekly's played out. It's taken out that previous low. So yeah, we'll just see if it gets lower. It's an interesting chart though, DBR. Don't know what it is. DCR. So this has come off, it's multiple times I think come off 6-month supply, so it had a big wick up inside it, and then a second wick this year has already tested inside it. So again, it may not come back, and this monthly demand is potentially low probability. If it does come back, let me just check. I actually was inside it at the start of the year. But if it does come back, there's a test here. There's a 3-week supply that I've alerted at the same 6-monthly level, but it's got a bunch of 5 days in between. And this is another one of the choppy ones that makes it harder. Is it going to just do a weak test off the bottom here, or is it going to get a decent push off this monthly, either up to the weekly here or up to the 5-day at the top? So again, we'll just have to see. And again, the demands here are a bit choppy, so just see if that monthly level holds. But again, the bias is going to be down, and then probably looking to take out all-time low at some point. See, there is a yearly, yeah, so it did also come off yearly supply at the start of this year. So yeah, this is generally I'm bearish on. DEAI. Okay, so I've got an alert here, so it's come down. We did have a monthly demand, and it's come down quite deep inside the monthly, but this could pick up support at any time really. So alert I've got set slightly lower on this 2-week 2-week demand, and then I've got an alert on 2-week supply up here if it does retest. This obviously is a risky cross there. This one's obviously a more risky one because of the fact it's in a monthly demand, and obviously CoinEx and Bitmart have a bit more history than this. So I've got previous highs in there, and I'm guessing, let me just quickly check, but I'm guessing they yeah, so they've just come down from there, so there's nothing new below. But yeah, potentially could get a push off this monthly to take it higher. Deep is obviously something I was a lot more bullish on, and I posted a short update of this yesterday. It's just not coming back to test any of my zones at the moment, which is kind of annoying because it then makes me slightly nervous that we're just going to run through all of them if we do get well, obviously if we get a bigger drop, of course we'll run through them, but it's hard to know when things haven't been tested if they're going to come back. It makes this one potentially less strong, but I have alerted the top weekly demand on that just to see, and then there's a 2-week and a 3-week and another 2-week that haven't been tested inside with these wicks. So the top of the 3-week got tested, I think, but on a weekly basis. But yeah, so it's a bit messy. I mean, you can just fib this if you want. If this was to be the top, you can just do a fib and trade lower below the 61, take longs, but that would be the aggressive entry on the weekly up there. DeFi's been one of the stronger ones. They're probably driven a lot by ARV, which has been strong, but it has come up now into, what's that, a 3-week supply and a 3-month indirect supply, but is on an annual, is this an annual? Yeah, well, it's a historic annual and a new 6-month demand, so this could actually run from here, but again, it's a challenging one because it's currently in 2-week supply, so it would be nice to see a test back down here, and then I would potentially look for a bigger move on this because we've got the larger 6-month demand below. DEGEN. So another bit of a choppy chart, a nice bounce off the monthly demand here, but didn't make a new high. So again, this is challenging that, you know, if it's got a bounce like that but hasn't managed to make a new high, then strictly the structure should be to take out the low. However, you know, there is a 2-week demand in here, so it's worth looking for possible triangle structure and the high and low. It's also got 2-week supply, so I have quite an aggressive alert on 2-week supply there. Why are my crosses, forgetting to put crosses in? But again, it's in 2-week demand and then it's got a 2-week supply, so it's a bit, that's not necessarily a high probability short in there, but it's, yeah, more of an aggressive short. And if this fails, then I'd be looking at that weekly or 3-day up the top there. Just put the 3-day in. Yeah, but looking in this sort of area if this one fails. Ideally we get a short there to take it down to the next zone here. There you go. Okay, what have we got here? Try and remember. Okay, so 3-month supply that it's come off, but it's again had multiple hits there by the looks of it. Yeah, so just lower highs off each one, but that 3-month supply is a challenge for it. This is another one actually. So one of the things on the Ds, for some reason, I find a lot more of them have made 6-month demands. So you can see this candle's just closed slightly above there. Again, it's not a strong demand because it hasn't managed to break supply nor break the previous high, but and also swing failed this candle. Did manage to get above, but swing failed it. But again, I'm not going to short against a 6-month demand, so I'd rather more inclined to look for long, so I haven't put a short on the 2-week supply there. And I put a more aggressive long on the 5-day demand that we're just coming into now. So I would hope, again, this has had multiple tests up here. It has had a swing fail taking out these lows, so I would hope this could get another push. But we'll see, so that's something to keep an eye on for potential bigger picture entry if it hits. DENT, another one that looks like so many of the others that I talked about in the previous alt updates, that we're just in this very big sideways range. We've had a very big impulse. We're in a massive sideways range. It's hit this sort of dubious annual level from Binance, but potentially I would like this to be lower. So the question with so many of these now is, you know, are we going to get a push off these new demands to make new highs and potentially take out some of this supply, or are these ranges going to break down? I feel like we're getting to the moment of truth on whether they're going to break down or not. Let me just see. Okay, so yeah, this didn't close with the 6-month demand. It closed with the 6-month demand just by a hair. So again, possibly could hold here. My alert is down on the monthly demand here. So again, we'll just see if that holds, or see if it's going to go down and take. There's so many stops here, it could well wick down to take out these stops first. But again, because of this monthly demand, I haven't put in any short entries on this, and it also, I think, hasn't made, it's actually quite consolidating quite nicely. It hasn't made 2-week supply like so many of the other things had. It did have a 5-day in there, which it's rejected, but it's also got a 5-day demand. Well, it's kind of gone through that 5-day demand, but yeah, it is consolidating. It could just hold this level. You know, it's already taken out. It's already hit the 3-week demand down there. But yeah, so we just need to see a bit more build up on that. Some of these are really just a bit too early to tell. They're just making consolidation structures, and it's just whether it's a consolidation for another up move or a consolidation just to drop deeper into deeper demand. DEXE. So this one's one that's looking a bit quite a lot nicer. It's got a big annual demand that it's put in there, So I did have an entry on this 4-day demand here. I think it was 4-day or 5-day, 4-day. So that's kind of had a nice push. So I've gone just more aggressive on this, just on the basis that maybe it's going to front run this annual zone. If it does come back down to the annual zone, that would be the more ideal long entry, and potentially these zones just inside it around $10. But again, I've gone for the more aggressive. It's made a weekly demand up here. Show you the weekly. So it has made a weekly demand up here, so I've just gone with the more aggressive. Pull that down slightly, it might be a bit too aggressive. Alert, I mean. Didn't work. I'll just leave it for now. But yeah, I mean, it's again a critical point. Like, it's hard again to try and long when you're at supply like this. But with the annual demand, it would certainly be worth looking for longs if it drops down here, and then potentially that aggressive one there. Obviously, I haven't put any shorts on this. You know, there's nothing overly clean. I mean, I could put a short on or an alert on all-time high just to see if it swing fails or goes back up again. But also a breakout, does a breakout retest. But yeah, so that's the aggressive entry there. DF. So it's another one here. It's coming off annual supply. So it's already had a test at the end of last year and is now back up testing it again. There's a 6-month demand down here, and then I've gone slightly more aggressive 1-week demand. 6 months starts inside, but coming from annual supply. So that's kind of where the original alert is. And you know, really it's just taken a wick into the annual zone there. So this is a bit of a risky one, but again, the 6-month demand kind of makes it worth watching. Could get a bigger push off there, or off this weekly. There's no new shorts on this again, because this was just very, very choppy when I looked up here. There's nothing clean to really put. I think there's a 2-week, but it's already got multiple wicks into it. So I think if it does go up, it's quite likely to wick. So I don't really want to put any shorts on there. DGB. So yeah, I had that first chart that I opened just to get some of the history on against the Binance chart. Another one with monthly demand down here, so I've just done a simple alert of the monthly demand on that. Again, it's a challenging one. It's coming from annual supply. Again, a dubious annual zone because it's just from where Binance opened, but it's a second hit on it, so I haven't had any other shorts on there. It's made a 3-week, so it's going to make a 3-week supply, but it's a weekly already. It's just rejecting off that, so it could pick up, or already. It is coming in. Actually, I'm not sure why I didn't alert that 6-month. I might make that alert slightly, maybe because it's just wicked a bit too close to it. I might make this alert slightly more aggressive because we do have 6 months demand there. So I think it's worth an alert here. Hang on, let me check quickly before I do that the other chart also shows the same. Yeah, it does. Yeah, so I mean, it could very much go deeper into that 6-month demand. It's not a strong zone, but again, worth possibly a more aggressive. So this was 5-day. Hold on, was it 5-day or 4-day? 4-day. Yeah, to make that alert slightly more aggressive because it's got the 6-month demand there, and again, no shorts on this because yeah, all the immediate zones have been tested. So I'd want potentially like clean shorts would be a lot higher up, unless you see something on the lower time frames in here that you want to short. DEAI. So this is something again that's come off annual supply up there. So I had quite a few aggressive shorts from previously up there, and it's got a 6-month demand down here. It's already got a 3-month demand, but it's already dipping inside it. But again, coming from annual supply, I'm like less inclined to look for longs too aggressively on this, and it's already hit this 3-month demand multiple times. So I've got an alert here 6-month demand, but there wasn't much at the level. I mean, a possible swing failure of that wick, but again, it could come deeper down inside here. And is also coming from annual supply. So again, the bias is just a difficult one here. Is this going to just go straight through because we've hit an annual supply, which would be the higher time frame bias, or is it going to at least pick up a bounce here for a reversal, or here for just a bounce to retest and then get another short in there? And on the short side, I haven't got anything new because, again, like all these zones currently in the local drop have been tested, so it would be looking up here. And again, because we're coming off 3-month demand, I don't want to be putting short entries in there. So then we've got, what have we got? DODO. So DODO is something, again, it's just in that larger sideways range like we've seen on so many things, but you know, a drop, you know, is this, it could be an accumulation range and it could be a distribution range. At the moment it's looking like a distribution range. It's had a monthly supply, it swing failed the top of monthly supply, it's retested that monthly level and is dropping. So it's also left a few wicks down here, so I put an alert just for possible longs or shorts on that low. So it's what you're looking for if it breaks a low, an all-time low, or an all-time high is just for a swing failure when you get that entry after, or you're looking for the breakdown, possible retest or retest of whatever new supply is in there. So that's the point of those entries. It's not necessarily a long entry, it's just to watch the level. And then we've got to pretend we're going to have a new 3-week supply in there, and there's a 2-week a bit higher inside. 2-week higher inside the zone, so if we get a test up here, it'd be a nice short entry. It is also in a monthly demand now, so again, it's quite hard to say. It's not a strong monthly demand because it's coming from a swing fail of those highs, and that's why I'm expecting it to take out the lows in this case. Doge is obviously still strong. It's not really showing signs of rejection yet, however, is still in 2-month supply. So again, something I'd be wary about looking for longs because we're so close to resistance, but then obviously at some point things have to break out. So, you know, you can see here we had a similar consolidation on just underneath the resistance, and then it ran straight up through it. So obviously that's still possible on this. That's my chart with less stuff on it. And then for the chart with all the data on it, we do have, sorry, I deleted these lines twice yesterday. We do have an annual demand here, so in a perfect world we get a retest down here. But if it's ready to break out, as you saw with the left of the history, it could just go from here. But that's where my alert is. I wouldn't long somewhere like this because I don't think the risk to reward is good enough. But there's no reason why it's going to drop directly from here. Nothing that's telling me that as yet. It's got a 5-day demand that it's held there. It did wick up into what would have been a very nice short at 3-day supply, but I missed that. Unfortunately, I haven't updated it soon enough, but that would have been a nice short just to get in, just to see if you're going to get the drop down to here. But at the moment, it's just consolidating through here. So what I'd want to see for longs really is probably a close over this candle this week, and then to make a new weekly demand, or just a more significant move up that takes out of this supply or goes a bit higher in this supply. On the short side, I've just put an alert on the all-time high, and again, just as I explained previously on DODO, you know, you're looking for either the breakout retest or the rejection swing failure at that level. Dogs, another one like the cat ones that looks ugly and, you know, is not coming back to test any zones. And I did get a nice test in there for a short actually. Now has made monthly supply, it's already tested it. So again, I've gone slightly more aggressive on the alert here, just on a 2-week, 3-week supply. So let me just put that 5-day, that's sort of the true resistance level, and this is the slightly more aggressive. It may have already done this test. It may just not come back up past now. You know, it's got new 5-day and 4-day demand, supply in here now. But if it comes up and takes out this wick, again, that potentially a nice short. Dog, I think, yeah, so this is just, again, just in a larger range, and it could go either way. It did have a 3-weekly demand here, which it's going now down to the bottom of. It's also got a 2-week supply above there. Just look at what that 3-month level, yeah, so it didn't quite close the 3-month demand, but again, it's just in a bit of a range up here, so it could go either way. It's because it's a new listing, it's worth looking for shorts on this, because quite often new listings you'll get a bit of consolidation up here and then it just dies for a couple of years before actually doing anything. I mean, this maybe is consolidated long enough for that not to happen, but like comparing to DOGS, for example, I think this really just came straight down from the start. But yeah, so I put an alert just back on this weekly support level just to see. But yeah, I wouldn't want to long in here. That might pick up support because it's swing failed the high, so I really would expect it to at least take out those lows. DOP 20% down today. So that alert should probably be deleted. So obviously that didn't test in there where I would have wanted it to. So again, now this has made a monthly supply, and it's already tested it. So it's a bit similar to DOGS, and it's going to make a 3-week just below it. So again, that's, you know, the aggressive short entry there, but it could, if it wants, come back up to here and still be in a downward structure. But that would be a big aggressive short on that, not DOT, which is part of my majors. Drift is one of the ones that's obviously that's stronger, but again, I would want the retest down here, monthly demand, 3-week demand. Let me just check. Yeah, it is a monthly and a 3-week. And it's now made, you know, it's obviously in this downtrend, it's now made 2-week supply, so looking for possible short on the 2-week supply to come down into here. Having said that, this is actually a reasonably risky short at this stage. You know, it's still holding this 12-hour, 8-hour demand in there, which is the base of this consolidation, so it could run through and make a new high from here. It's also left untested zone up above, so what we're looking at here, you know, is that we've got a wick down into this zone and we've got a higher low, so that means this 2-week supply isn't necessarily strong unless it breaks this low first. But again, just a level to watch if it comes back. There is a 5-day in between, so I'm being slightly more conservative on this because obviously it's a much more bullish structure. Duck. This is one of the new ones, so it was Gate has this gap. It was a new listing, I think, on most of the other exchanges. Just check if I've got. I haven't put all the exchanges on that one. Not all of them. Blowfin, Bybit, MEXC, but not Binance Futures. So the other exchanges are just showing this top section. It's come back up into 2-month supply on this chart. Could come all the way back down there. So yeah, as I say, the other exchanges are just showing this. So I have put an alert in here on 8-hour supply, and mainly I'll just look at the comment that I put, 12-hour supply. So there's another untested 12-hour above that hasn't quite reached, but with Gate on the Gate chart, that that zone is aligned with the 2-month level. So worth looking at that zone because it's on the 2-month level, but it could possibly also test there. Or maybe it'll never come back. You know, it has made a daily supply at current price. It's rejecting off it now, so maybe those entries are too conservative. DUSK. So it's had a clean retest of monthly supply up there. It's come all the way back through. We had a brief bounce on top of monthly demand, but it's now come a lot lower inside it. I'll just go back to the higher time frame. It's going to make a 3-weekly demand here, but it's already tested this on the weekly basis. So again, could still make a higher low here. You know, has had a bounce, does find support here. So we'll have to see, but again, 3rd, 4th test of these wicks, not something I'm overly confident about, so I've gone more conservative on this with the alert down on 3-week demand down here, and more aggressive on the short on 5-day supply there. DYDX. What we got here? So again, this is looking still on the bearish side, but back at support, so it could hold here. You know, it has bounced off that yearly level. It took, so, oops. So I had an alert here at 3 months supply and at the weekly supply there, and it has gone a bit higher inside it up to this monthly. So it's rejected off the monthly, so again I would expect it here to make a new low in the overall bearish structure. However, it does have a 5-day demand. If it wants to make, it could be that this is the low, and here we've had just a deviation of the low, and now it's going to come back to a retest. So it is possible that this holds, but again we just need to see the reaction when we get there. It could still break down. It is coming off monthly supply. I think because of that possibility of a deviation, like I haven't put any short entries on that because I was just considering. DIM looks quite like DYDX, except in this case it's got a 3-month supply now. Is that new? Let me just check. So it's a new 3-month supply, but it has rejected on this January candle. So again, I'm more aggressive on the shorts on this. It's more of a challenging one. We've got this 3-month, like I've just said, and I think there's a monthly there as well. Yeah. So again, I've gone more aggressive on the shorts, 2-week supply there, because it's already rejected the monthly. But again, it is back into support, so it's possible this comes up and takes out that zone. Above that is then just slightly challenging because we've got this giant 3-week zone and a big drop in it, so it can reject just off that level, or it could go higher inside to the weekly or even the 5-day inside here. So I'm not really sure where the alert should go on this, what would be high probability, but I just thought I'd wait and see what the reaction is first before considering that. Also has a 5-day supply in between, so may not even get up to that 2-week. So preferably you'd want this to make a lower low before this tests, but we'll see. EDU, again a difficult one, just very much a sideways consolidation now and just getting tighter and tighter. So the stops up here that it could squeeze, but again not something I probably could put a short alert up on this 4-day up here. But again, just because of running out of alerts, I'm slightly more wary. But yeah, if this is something you're watching trading, I'd look for a short up on that 4-day supply, and then I've got an alert here for this potentially being a breakdown level. I probably have to look at another chart and see if we've got any more history than this. But there's just been far too many hits on support now. So we'll have to see, and there is a bit of a trend line. Trend line stops through here, so would it be nice to see it fall off this trend line? I actually think it's probably worth an entry, not on the 4-day. It's probably worth watching for a trend line breakdown on this. Let's do it on the linear chart, so check that makes sense on the linear chart. Maybe from here. Yeah, so I'll alert that for the possibility of a 12-hour breakdown, crossing down trend line. So that would be a potential short. If it's what we're looking for is I wouldn't trade straight down on a break of a trend line, but if you get the close below, then you're looking to short supply on the retest. But that's something that's worth watching. EGLD. Okay, so this is obviously a giant 6-month supply up here. Just look without all the mess on it. We've got a giant 6-month supply there. It's gone quite high inside it, but really we'd probably expect it to take out the low. Yeah, and up into monthly supply here. This case it doesn't have. It's kind of got a monthly indirect demand there, and it's got some weekly demands, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, etc. But it's not something I'm overly confident about. I have put an alert in here for the 5-day demand at the bottom, but again, these wicks, it's very possible it wants to take out the wicks. Let me just see, 4-day demand. I should put the in, however, multiple equal lows. So on this, yeah, we might get another bounce here, but probably look at taking out these equal lows and going down into the 3-month demand ultimately. Again, I haven't been too aggressive on the short because I did have an alert in there. I'm not sure what that was. Maybe I was just trying to be aggressive on it might have just been like a 3-day demand or something that I was trying to be aggressive on. Maybe we get a move up into here, but no, that hasn't been the case. But yeah, so all these zones have been tested already, so, and back on support. So again, I don't really want to be shorting like that close. I'd rather we had a dip down into here for a long, or had a more aggressive move for a decent short. I'm just looking at what Bitcoin's doing. Just a bit of a retracement now. EIGEN, if I'm pronouncing that correctly. So again, I've just done a more aggressive short, but then it's kind of messy here. There's a 5-day supply, there's a 2-week inside, and a possible 3-week. So just have a look. Yeah, so the 3-week will be a lot higher. The 2-week, again, challenges I've spoken about in previous videos, that this is an hour 2-week supply, but it already tested on the weekly. So again, I've gone slightly more aggressive on the alert here, so just see what happens when it hits that zone. But there is a risk on this that it is not going to reject there and just run through. But really, you know, even if this zone fails, what you're looking at, like again, it's already hit on the lower on another time frame, so it's difficult. But what I would still want to see here is the 5-day reject, and even if this is going to keep support, it's then this is the low, you know, and then it makes a higher low. Like I still want to see supply reject, ideally. But again, that's probably a little bit of a risky one because it's got so many tests already, or sorry, the lower time frame test already. ELF, this is an alert I had go because it's got an annual demand. So this is an interesting one to watch. I already did go into the annual demand last year, but it's a second test of annual demand and also a new 2-month. So this is potentially one, you know, that might suddenly turn very bullish if it wants to. So this supply short alert is risky, but we'll see. Again, the market has to support these bigger moves. Yes, it's a 2-month demand, but it could still go deeper inside it. You know, we're even in the annual, like this annual. So what we've had with this test on the annual demand. So again, we've come back into 3-month annual demand here, and we've gone up, but we haven't made a new high of the annual. So therefore, what it's saying is this demand, or this the whole demand here that it's made, isn't necessarily that strong. So obviously, yes, we can pick it up as support and now make the higher high, and then potentially play out the whole annual. But what it can also mean is that we go deeper into the demand to find stronger demand down lower inside the annual. So again, it's one of those structures that just can go either way at the moment. So hence it's worth looking at the short, particularly because the whole market has shorts in broadly the same place. ELON, again, I did the update, the short video update on that yesterday, so I hope you watched that on YouTube Shorts. We have 2-month demand here. We had a nice alert for 2-week demand inside 2 months. There's a 6-month down there if it does want to go lower. Like that would have been really the preferred entry, but it's kind of picked up support higher than that. This is the XC chart, but you can see this 6-month on the gate chart. So the gate chart hasn't really had as much of a wick as this, so I did have a short alert up there, but which went off, but it didn't quite hit the level and probably would have been too quick to get in. So I said yesterday on this, again, the conservative alert is back down on 5-day demand inside this 2-week, 3-week level. However, it may not get back there. You know, it's made a daily. We've got an entry here on this already, just straight off with the 2-week or the weekly demand, new weekly demand in there. It's now made a daily and held that, and it's made a new daily. So again, you know, the wick on this makes me slightly nervous of being too aggressive on longs, but obviously it can go significantly higher if it wants to. But really, we'd like to see this hourly get a bit more broken. So again, just being maybe slightly too conservative on the long entry there, but we'll see. But certainly this is something you can scalp if it comes down, if it takes a swing fail of that level into this daily demand, you can look for longs here as well. ENA, we got, remember this chart, okay. Yeah, so again, just been very conservative on the longs here. There's a 3-month demand. And as I said before, you know, I'm sometimes conservative. That doesn't necessarily mean I think it's going to go all the way down there, and certainly may not go down there in the short term. But you're looking at, if it goes down there, then you want to take a long. It has made new 2-week supply here, and obviously it's a fairly strong chart. It's made a new 2-week supply and it has rejected it already, so that I would like, on the higher time frame, I would like to see this rejection take us down into here, and possibly not to the 3 month. You know, it does have a daily or 2-day and a 5-day above it, so we'll see. So now it's rejecting off 2-week and 5-day supply. I think there was just nothing else in here. Again, there's nothing really that I want to trade. You know, if it goes back up here, okay, there is an 8-hour supply here. But I think, yeah, now I would like to see it just drop from here, and then if it does hit the 3-month demand, then I won't want to be shorting there. So probably then I would potentially look for a short up here. So I guess we'll see. But yeah, it's just in a chop in the middle here. There's a possible short in there. So you can watch that zone. I'll just put across there for you, but I'm not alerting it for now. But really, I'd like to see this kind of just fall off the 2-week at the lows and show it's more bearish to get back down into here. If it kind of goes up to the top, then it's probably going to be more bullish. ENJ is an interesting one. It's coming off annual supply, and it did create a new one and then rejected it, but it's back down into annual demand, and then a 6-month retesting this 6-month that it's had previously. So let me just see what alerts I put on it on the other chart with less history. So again, because of the annual supply, I've just gone more conservative on the long entry. So we'll look for a long entry down here on monthly demand, the next monthly down, and maybe it'll hold here. Let's see, there is a new monthly demand here that it's testing now, so it's possible it holds here. But again, I'm not massively confident of that. I'd rather it was lower. So okay, yeah, so there is a little hidden alert in here. So I've gone, again, because of the annual rejection, and then that's the annual rejection, it's worth looking at more aggressive shorts. So I put an alert for 5-day or 2-week supply in here. ENS, this is obviously one of the stronger ones, but up in monthly supply. So monthly supply, but it's also held 3-month demand. So got no 6-month. There's a 6-month all the way down the bottom here. So it has made and held 3-month demand here. So this is something that could get a push. But again, for me, I've kind of missed it. It's too late. Well, it's too late for the initial entry off the 3-month zone. So now I just need to see more build up. I think, yeah, so it kind of made weekly supply by a hair as well. So again, that's why I'm not overly confident looking for longs right now. So again, just want to see a bit more consolidation through here. I'd like to see it reject this daily and then what demand it's made in between. But you can certainly look for if this creates, you know, if it goes up now, it creates 3 weekly demand, or if it closes above even this 36.7 level and makes a weekly demand, then absolutely look for longs on that, potentially next week. Else, if it rejects this daily hard, I'm not putting a short entry there purely because of the 3-month demand that it's in at the moment. But yeah, so in a perfect world, it's going to give a retest at the base of the impulse. But again, if it's an impulse, then it can aggressively just hold the top of the breakout here, like is what it appears to have done at the moment. So yeah, certainly keep an eye on this for, like, if you're going to get aggressive longs in this, even if you're just getting scalps, I'll just take out the high. And then the more conservative longs as if we drop deeper inside. ERN, again, another one off monthly supply at the highs. I'm really just like messing around in this consolidation. Got a new monthly demand, but it's come nearly almost all the way through it. Did get a bounce off the top, but didn't get very far. And then a new 3-week supply will be made there. So again, I put a more aggressive short entry on that because it's looking pretty weak and trucking back through this monthly demand. It does have a 6-month at the lows here. But yeah, again, took a wick quite deeply into that and has left a bunch of lows here. So again, I'm looking for if that stop hunts those lows and stop punch this 6-month zone at this stage. ETC is another one I did a short on yesterday, and one that I'm actually kind of more bullish on. And I did want to look at the grayscale chart, so maybe I can do that now while I'm here. So as you can see on this, we've got a trend line. You know, this is the basic chart with nothing on it. We've got a trend line. We came back down below it, and now we potentially reclaim that trend line. But what I'm really looking for here is similar to what I just said with ELON, was it? You know, is for this to create a new weekly demand. I would like to see this week's candle close significantly higher, and then potentially look for a test of this zone. So it's not something, it's something that's difficult to alert right now. So I did have an alert on this 3-day demand as an aggressive alert, so that's had a nice move. And it does have a 5-day supply immediately above. But again, at this stage may create 4-day, 5-day demands, so are we just going to get a consolidation through here? We need to see the reaction here. So it's still quite early for this. If it comes deeper, there's got 3-week, 2-week and 1-month demand there, so that would be the better entry, or the cleaner entry on demand if it does come back down. Again, swing failed the high, so it's a difficult one. Does that mean it's going to take out some lows? But again, on the lower time frames, or like I say, if you can look for entries on the weekly and try and get a tight entry in here, then you might get at least a move up into this supply, and all potentially that bigger move. So let's just quickly look at what the grayscale ETC chart is doing. US dollar dominance looking increasingly nasty there. Just see, it was worth looking at the grayscale charts. And XLM's really got up 13% today, so I guess Ripple's moving. Okay, yeah, so you can see on this. Oops. Sorry, ETC. So let's just look at, I probably haven't done the higher time frames on this yet. So yeah, it's come off 3-month demand down here. It is kind of in a massive annual supply, but obviously it's moving quite high. But we come off 3-month demand down here, so yes, I would expect this to take out the high. It's had a decent move. It's rejected off the 2-month, swing failed it. But then come back down. Again, we're in a bigger monthly supply, but yeah, the strength of this move off the 3-month is good, and then we've come back down, tested weekly demand. So there is, you know, the possibility that again we come back down to the start of this move. But so we're looking here. Are we going to create? Oh no, we have created a new weekly demand on this. So this is already a little bit ahead of the other chart as such. So again, this is potentially something that I like the look of for a move up to higher levels, if that 3-month plays out. But we need to see it hold through here. So back on that normal ETC chart, again, we want to see this confirm the weekly demand as well, and then just see it hold through here. ETHFI, and this and ETHW I think really just follow Ether. And at the moment they're a little bit challenging, so again we're on a monthly demand here, but so far didn't get much of a push off the first hit, and now we're down a bit deeper inside it. But yeah, so we're looking really for this trend line to break. There's nothing I want to long here now. We had a 5-day down here, but it's already been hit, you know, so this is really potentially just a bearish move to break. The only thing in its favour, I guess, is that it didn't test this weekly supply up here. My alert was higher on those monthly in there, so again, just slightly more conservative. So, you know, again, 2 options here, that either we're in the downtrend, that's just a weak retest and we're just going to continue the downtrend, or that this is going to pick up for another move up to the monthly before that happens. So if you want to long this, I would suggest waiting for the trend line to break, and then looking for a break retest on that trend line, and also just watch Ether for strength, because if Ether has strength then this should follow. So again, I haven't got any aggressive shorts on this because I still think it could go either way. It is on monthly demand, so if you watch the lower time frames on this, if it starts to give you something, you know, for example, if it breaks this daily, but then it's just going to go straight into 2-week supply. So yeah, well, it's already tested the 2-week, and we'll make a 3-week. So Well, I think what you would be looking for on this is for it to negate that 3 weeks. So at the end of this week, you want it to close inside here, come down and hit a 3-week indirect level there. I'd rather this was lower. This is a 2-week demand here, so, and it's obviously could go deeper inside that because it's got a bit of a gap at the beginning. In the bigger picture, this could end up interesting. You know, it could be a consolidation for a bigger breakout. Obviously doesn't have the decent supply on this, however has got a 2-month supply in there that we're already rejecting. It's not the best 2-month supply, so obviously it did go very high inside it, but what you don't want on this again is for it to make a monthly supply, but that monthly level, potential monthly level, is at the same level. I've got the 3-week and the short, so again, we'd like to see this move a little bit lower, but it's just a sideways consolidation, so it could pick up support here for another bigger move, or could just break down from this point. It's hard to tell. The 2-month supply, you know, so would say breakdown, and the lower high, but again, can still make the higher low. It is in potentially a triangle structure. So that's pretty much it on the D's and E's. I hope that's useful. My stream actually managed to work the whole way through, but without recording. So I wonder if not recording it at the same time is the way to go, or I need to reduce my recording settings somehow. Have to work through that one. I'll just quickly look at FARTCOIN because I'm here. So FARTCOIN's actually a little bit like DEEP that we saw earlier, where it's got, you know, zones below that haven't been tested. So I did have an aggressive entry on this weekly demand. I don't know, I've kind of got a feeling FARTCOIN might end up, it reminds me a bit of PopCat. I'm going to have a look at PopCat in a sec. But it kind of reminds me of something that's kind of distributing and is not necessarily going to hold. You know, there's a daily demand inside this weekly, but until we see the weekly broken, and in fact really the weekly down here, because this is, you know, when you're looking at up move, and then this is still a consolidation on top of this up move. You know, so yeah, this is broken out, but so really you'd want it to hold the breakout or the demand that broke it out, but this is the base for the up move, so it has to kind of break down here for it to really be bearish, and I think there's still a lot of people who think this is a long-term buy. There's people like me who are highly skeptical of something called FARTCOIN, and then there's people that, you know, love this. Oh, and just as I say that, my stream's gone a bit dodgy, so like hopefully this has lasted okay, and I will finish now if it's hold on, let me just check. It's a different error this time. Please use a keyframe frequency of 4 seconds or less. I don't know what a keyframe frequency is, but I guess that's something for me to look at. Anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions in Telegram.